Welcome to Mediocre Gaming, and today we're playing RoboCop Rogue City. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Zero. Let's get to it. So today we're taking care of a nest of vultures, but before we get to that, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and ring that bell to be notified of all future episodes as soon as they go live. So let's get into it. So when we first started off playing RoboCop, we were looking for Soot, who was the head of the Torchheads, and on the way to finding Soot, we found out that there was an officer that was missing, and we got a lead that he is likely being held hostage by the vultures. And for some reason, the OCP, the Detroit OCP police, were not allowed to be in this area. This area was basically off limits. So we're going against protocol by just being here, and our handler doesn't like it one bit. Our OCP overlord.
Blood trail visible on the ground. I will follow it.
All right, so we got some blood, which is consistent with Officer Briggs' blood, and we just have to follow it. Now, this area is this particular level, not just this area. This area is very large, but in addition to that, this level is very, very long. So when you start this level, there is a dozen OCP crates lying around. There's a whole bunch of evidence here, there, and everywhere. And there are 3 side missions. Now, personally, I don't like starting a level without finishing it, because I don't like coming back, depending on the game. I don't like... in this particular game, I don't like starting a level and then having to come back to it later on and trying to remember where I was at. Like, what was I doing? Where am I at? Which direction was I going? These fast movers, depending on what skills you spec into, can be a real problem, especially in your first playthrough, which is what this is. If you guys are more interested in watching me coast through levels, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think. If you'd rather see the first playthrough, or the 5th playthrough, where it is much easier. I figured you'd appreciate at least seeing the struggle. So I'm not going to go through and show you all the OCP crate locations, even the side quests, but I will point some things out as we go along. There is a lot here, and it is worthwhile to be thorough in your investigation. So not just taking out the bad guys, but also looking for all those optional things, the side quests, the the PCB boards, the OCP. If you don't want to be distracted, you can take out those speakers that are up against the wall, like you just saw there, and that will help you out in terms of not being distracted. If it doesn't bother you, then have at it. So we're still investigating, but I'm kind of looking around at the same time. Now, those fast movers, you can either focus on the rider or you can focus on the motorcycle. And depending on what PCB board and perks you have, you might choose one or the other. If you have, because these guys don't have a lot of armor, You don't necessarily need armor penetration, but if you're going to focus on the bikes, you may want armor penetration. So depending on your playstyle, depending on what you want to do, will determine the perks on your Auto 9. The standard or iconic weapon for RoboCop. So there we go. That was only one upgrade chip. And as I've said before, Auto 9 is okay at the beginning of the game, but you're going to rely a lot more on your secondary weapons, the weapons that you can pick up. Even the 9mm. As soon as you start getting upgrade boards and upgrade chips for your PCB, for your Auto 9, all of a sudden your Auto 9 is going to become more and more powerful, and it is going to be much, much more worthwhile to have around. So unfortunately, the hammer you can't just carry with you and swing at guys. Run up to him and swing at him. And he got out of range of that explosion. I'm a little disappointed. Looking around a little bit, you see those red lines in the top middle, which shows your compass direction, but it also shows where the enemies are at. Well, it gives you a direction anyway. Doesn't necessarily tell you where they're at. There we go. Now the current PCB board I have has a full auto, but I have to reload it. It only has 50 bullets, which is still not bad. It's better than what it was at the beginning. Weapon damage and weapon spread are improved over the standard Auto 9. Alright, we're going to breach this wall and hit the aim just a little bit too fast. These guys aren't outlined in the RoboCop position. Same thing when you reload. You have to wait for the animation to finish before you can pull the trigger, or not pull the trigger, hit the button for aiming down the sights, which enables that RoboCop vision. Just like a half a second you have to wait. So if you're holding it down while you're breaching or while you're reloading, you're going to have that problem where the enemies are not going to be outlined, which it's not terrible, but it's not the way that I would expect it to play. Alright, so we're moving on through the Vulture territory. Ah, there we go. There's another breach. Another slow-mo. So we can take these guys out. That guy's still up and running. There, I got that guy. And that guy's still up. I felt like I should have taken that guy out while I was unloading on him. Oop. There we go. One of my favorite early weapons, the heavy machine gun. Has good stability, good damage, and armor penetration. So it does a decent amount. It's got a decent amount of power early on, but even, I would say, mid-game. Alright, so unarmed street vulture.
He was brought here.
I don't know anything, I'm just an accountant.
What's happening around here? I tend to focus on my work. I wouldn't remember.
So this guy looks like a vulture, but he doesn't act like a vulture. He's just the accountant
I get you.
with mob ties, so to speak.
Not long ago they brought him here. He was already in real bad shape. I kind of felt for the guy.
Dude,
Where
you're talking to Rick the accountant?
Once he got back on his feet, they took him away.
Well, these guys probably know.
Nowhere. I'm telling
They
you,
need him, so they obviously are like, hey, yeah, you can be a vulture. Dress the part, but everyone knows.
it's on the west side of the mill.
Dude's not the same.
do not move until I return.
There we go. So we'll look around.
If anyone finds me,
Oh, look as tough as the others.
as tough as
Yep. And that tells you everything you need to know right there. Alright, so unfortunately that's not the end of checking out the turf. We have to keep on keeping on. Picking up evidence,
I have a thug's
looking
testimony.
for OCP
Proceed to the
crates,
enemy commands.
etc.
How could you be sure that he's not leading you into Alliance then?
I am hoping for it.
You have to go back through the building to the beginning, I think. But as you're going through the levels, obviously, you know, if you're in a hurry, you can just go through the level, not worry about side missions or any of the other stuff. But you need to be aware that you can't go back into a level once you finish it. So once we get done with the Vulture territory here, this mission, we won't be able to go back. There's no reliving the glory days of these easier missions with more skill points. Yeah, even with the heavy machine gun, that's funny. I think that guy took the other one out by running into him. All right, so because we followed the blood into the building and then left, we triggered a reinforcement. So we got a bunch of more vultures that we need to deal with, and a new type of enemy. He's got a grenade launcher. Luckily, we're off to the side, so it's not as difficult. Lots of explosives. If you've spec'd into defense, it won't be as brutal. But if you haven't put any skill points into defense, then you're going to want to stay out of the way of any of those grenades. Alright. Got rid of all the vultures in the area. Now we're moving forward to where there's probably more vultures. Now, like I said before, there are tons of OCP boxes, and some of them are more difficult to get to than others, and it's worthwhile to get to the different ones because some of them, there's at least one that has a PCB board in it. There's at least one PCB board that is unmissable. Oh, there's another grenade launcher. Full auto is great, but it's also a pain. Try to control the aim, weapon spread. Alright, there's a guy right there. Okay, we got a guy off to the left there. Oop, more guys. I missed. Didn't get to see how many hit points got knocked off, how many percentage from that explosion. I don't think I was far enough away. The grenade chucking skills of these guys is such that you never really know where they're gonna throw it. They could toss it short and it would be in front of you. They can toss it long, be behind you, or toss it right on top of you. So even though you think, oop, all right, so we got reinforcements. We have a new guy, someone that's got a radio that can call in reinforcements. It takes them some time, but he runs away, and if you don't find him, then you're gonna have to deal with more guys. Now, it's not necessarily a problem, but they could take off percentages off of your health, and that'll cause problems down the road. If you have Vitality 2, you can look for those boxes throughout the levels. It's a one-time thing, so if you need it there, great. If you don't need it there, it's still there. So it's kind of a hit or miss kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it works, but not very well. Now, regardless of where you're at on Vitality, if your Vitality is all the way up, you'll slowly gain health back up to 75%, which is awesome. But even if you don't have any points in Vitality, you'll still get 20%. So it'll slowly climb back up to 20%. So if you start getting a low below 20%, just get into cover, and then you'll climb back up to 20%, and then you can go back into the firefight. If you get hit, then you can, you hide and seek, kind of poke your head out when you're up to 20%, get hit, go back into cover. We got most of the guys in the area, I think, so I think we're good. Pick up a new weapon. Assault rifle, not as good as the heavy machine gun, but it's better than a lot of the weapons that you see. Now, of course, if you can get to it, those guys with the grenade launcher, you can get that, and those are pretty nice. So although it's dangerous, it's also a benefit when you take them out. All right, another building, another problem. So RoboCop's been having these like memories or glitches, depending on how you look at it. And it's happening now. He starts remembering things from before he was a RoboCop, either about his life as a police officer, or needed that badly, or time with his family. So this, if you've seen the movie, should look very familiar. It is the mill or whatever that Murphy was at before he became RoboCop, which turned him into RoboCop. The sofa and the stairs going up and everything. So the little Easter eggs like that are kind of nice callback to the original RoboCop. Just like having Lewis in here. All right. So here, unmissable PCB OCP board. And now we can play the tape and see what is going on. This is going to help progress the storyline a little bit more. And in true 1980s fashion, it's a VHS tape. You see the whole standard definition VHS glory days of the 1980s.
Well, cop.
All right, so Spike is the guy in charge of the Vultures.
Hey, you're spoiling my mood again.
And here we see Briggs,
I don't like
and they're
wander around. Cops mean trouble.
having a little chat with Officer Briggs here.
So really, this is your fault.
And they're recording it for posterity's sake.
Soon the cops will.
No cop of any kind is going to
Just like that.
the police.
The new guy, aka Wendell Antonoski,
Does this mean we have a
who is the supposed brother of
vultures?
the guy from the original gang that created RoboCop. So it's all part of RoboCop's memory,
Would you like to join us?
which is kind of, some people think that it's contributing to his memories bubbling up or glitches.
How about instead we do some hunting?
And I think it was Lewis that said, you know, it's off, isn't it awfully, something to the effect of, it's awfully coincidental that he's shown up. Why hasn't he popped up before this? It's obviously been a while since that whole fiasco happened.
And the police.
RoboCop is deeply embedded into Detroit. So Spike and Wendell have some sort of deal going on. And we need to find out what that deal is.
Your readings are off the charts. What happened?
I found a tape of
Oh,
Fraser
and the
tortured.
OCP Overlord
Spike was
has
not
gotten into contact with us.
Antonowski.
Did you say he was tortured?
Yes, surrounded,
I mean, really,
out and no back out.
Ulysses Washington is just a
They used him as prey.
intern.
They mentioned
Really?
Glory.
He's really just an intern at OCP who's been assigned to be a babysitter for RoboCop. Here again, another OCP container,
It's just north of your position.
On my way,
RoboCop,
another upgrade
find him.
mod. All right, we need to make our way back. I thought maybe we could do that, but we gotta go kind of back and forth and around to get to where we need to go. Ah, there we go. There's some stairs, so this should be it. And as I said before, going through all the nooks and crannies of the level will maximize the experience that you get, as well as things like your PCB boards and your upgrade chips for those Auto 9 upgrades. So not only will you get more skill points by looking around through the level, but you'll also get a more powerful weapon, which is always good. You can be less reliant on things like this assault rifle. Assault rifle is decent at long range, but it's not like it's a marksman rifle. Alright, so we're out of bullets on that. Takes a few rounds in order to explode the motorcycle. Grab that. I wish we could use that as a shield, but that's not really how it works. Those guys had a assault rifle too, so we could have picked up more ammo for the one that we had. But I think I'll probably just use the auto. Oh, never mind. Mainly use the Auto 9. For the most part, it's pretty good. There are some instances where it's not great. And partially it's because it's the first playthrough. Partially because I don't have high level upgrades. Partially because I don't have
That's the quarry.
the higher tier boards that make it stronger. And of course, oof, what happened to him?
If you really think you got the guts, come on.
So at this point, after you open up the
The hub of our smuggling operation. And I'm telling you now, there's plenty.
ouch,
Get the other one in the door.
down to 1% already. Like, where is all the damage coming from? So opening up the gate opens up two
Ambush for you.
side quests,
You won't try to go there, right?
trackable side quests.
Right?
So 2 of the 3 are going to pop up, whether you wanted to or not. Now, as you can hear and see, there are landmines littered throughout this section at least of the map. So starting now, as soon as you open that gate and you see that guy explode, you have to start looking for mines. They are outlined, but do keep your eyes and ears open. So we're just going to do the main campaign. We're not going to do those side campaigns. If you want to do those, I recommend that you do them, but like I said before, you don't have to. Alright, we got enemies in the back here. I've got good focus, so reduced spread on this particular Auto 9 upgrade. So I can shoot pretty accurately at long range, which is nice. The downside is it doesn't have as many. Should have done that before. Drop the junk on top of them. Oh, and it's a little bit harder to see these. There, I destroyed a bunch of them. Landmines. They're harder to see under the water. So, very important to keep your eyes and ears open. Ears even more so because you'll likely hear them, but that also means that you have to move forward more slowly so that you don't step on it before you hear it. And if you hear one, it's not necessarily in front of you. Could be on the side. So you don't even want to strafe too much because you're like, I hear it, but I don't know where it's at. And because of the reflection off of the water, it makes it very, very difficult to see where those suckers are at. Something like infrared might help. I wonder if infrared would help. I didn't think about it while I was doing this. I would say realistically it wouldn't help, but maybe it would. So while you're doing this part, maybe switch to infrared just to see if those landmines show up a little bit easier, especially under the water. But slow and steady. When you see guys pop up, stop where you're at, take them out, then move forward. Look out for the mines. If you see one or hear one, you can shoot it, knock it out. One of the things I really like is that the Auto 9 never runs out of ammunition, which is very smart on their part, on the developer's part. Oh, good. There we go. We got full charges. And we're going to pick up this heavy machine gun. Oh, never mind. I've got a heavy machine gun and it's full. When you pick up a secondary weapon, whenever you pick it up, it's always full on ammo. And you can't get any more ammo than that. So it's basically use it until it runs out and then pick up another. Alright, so this is where the video took place. This is a different weapon. Gonna go ahead and pick it up. Assault rifle RBS. It's got a scope on it, so it might come in handy. We got a lot of coolers here. Alright, oh, cutscene. Well, I guess it's not a rescue mission anymore.
I am in the freezer.
What is a freezer even doing there?
And yeah, they got a whole bunch of freezers here.
His body.
Oh. So that means...
He was not the only victim.
Yeah, they got a whole bunch of people.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm getting you back up even if it gets me in trouble. And there's another OCP container.
Trouble. Spike.
Ooh, recovery charges are maxed out. Now you can get up to 5 recovery charges capacity if you spec into that skill. Now I've mentioned before, I spec'd into experience first, so I wanted to max out the experience that I got from picking up notes from getting experience so that I can get the highest level that I could throughout the gameplay so I could get as many skill points as I could. I'm relatively confident that I can manage this without hitting any stray landmines just by going through the path. Alright, we got a new guy, a sniper. I'd love to get my hands on one of those. Alright, so we're going to switch, since this has a scope, and see how that does. It does okay. It's certainly not a sniper rifle. It is definitely still an assault rifle. Now do make sure that you're keeping your eye on the red tabs on the compass, and that'll help you figure out where the enemies are coming from. Now I'm going to assume that not all of the guys are... Oh, I could have hit that shovel again and probably would have taken out at least one guy. Oh man, that is long range. I'm hitting them though. There we go. Another red. There it is. Right in the window. All I could see... Oh, and he hit me. What the heck? Look at that. All the way down to 5%. If I hadn't repaired previously, he would have taken me out. Alright, so we need to get through all of these snipers. There, I hit him. Did I take him out? Yep, I must have. So definitely pick up that RBS, assault rifle RBS, when you see it. It's got a scope on it. It's going to make this a little bit easier. If you could, whoop, take care of that guy. If you can pick up one of the sniper rifles that these guys have, they're all up on the hill, which would make it improbable, at least on this level. Anyway, as I was saying before, I don't really personally like in RoboCop starting a level and then stopping. Ooh, look at that. Some more mines I almost walked into. So I like to get through the level and then, quit, come back to it later, so that I always know where I'm picking up from, what direction I need to go from where I stopped. And because it's all autosave, you don't have a choice of where you can stop. You have to wait until you get a save point. So make sure if you're doing that to keep an eye on where it auto saves. Yeah, it does take a second. I'm down to 1 recovery charge and 20% on my health, which is not great. Have to try and take these guys out. And I'm running out. I don't have 2 full magazines. I have 1 full magazine in most of a second. So hopefully I'm getting to the point where I don't need it. Alright. So you eventually get to this point. If you haven't gone this way previously, you're going to want to keep your eyes open for mines. But there's this train engine. On the side, you can start the engine and then follow it. I'll have a separate video just for the PCB board. That is a secret in the level, but this is what you'll need to do.
We're at the southeast gate.
Acknowledged. On my way.
And then over here, this red light in the door, that takes you to the third side quest that is not mentioned. So you have to go through and kind of search around, and then it pops up, and then you can do it. So if you want to do all the side quests within the level, make sure that you do that. Now right on the side, there's a ladder. You go up onto the train and then go across a bridge. And that's that secret PCB board on this level. All right, so we're going towards the end. Right there on the left, there's a ladder you can lower to make it easier to get around the level. But like I said, it's not like you can come back to the level. All right, put the gun away so no more enemies. Now we're just going to regroup. Got an Ed 209.
Hey, Robo.
There we go. Look at that. Secondary weapon if you want. It's just a 9mm pistol, but better than nothing if you don't have a secondary at this point.
Behind that big gate. Now, let's decide on the strike team.
I go
Alright,
on
so they
my
got
own. No need to risk
the
lives.
vultures penned in.
OCP is
Just
supplied
need to
with
send
Ed
in
209.
a strike
Maybe you can
squad
make use of it, even if it is just for
to take them down and try to take the leader,
Can you
Spike,
leave him alone, lady?
alive,
It caused him enough trouble already.
if they have to.
Hey, I just want the people to know what's going on.
And we
in
got
the
that
Can't say she isn't good at
reporter,
what she does.
Samantha
She got here
Ortiz,
before us.
who
Anyway,
has
it's up to you.
caused us
We
some
need a bit of
trouble
time
in
to
the
speak
public
with her and
eye
wrap up anything
at
else
the
we
very
need.
beginning of the game.
Those bikers aren't going anywhere. But if you're ready
So
to go,
you can talk to her,
Ed
you
209
can not
is here
talk
for
to
your
her.
support.
It's up to you.
Just say the word.
Their time is up. I am going in.
Good luck, Murphy.
Now, I think certain characters you can change the overall or, you know, small aspects of the ending depending on your relationship with them. So do keep that in mind. So now we've got a challenge,
Ed 209 and RoboCop fighting hand
a
in hand.
friendly challenge between RoboCop and Ed 209. Try to take out as many guys as possible, or at least more than the Ed 209. So kind of like going through a shooting gallery. They're mainly targeting Ed 209, so that's good. So you don't necessarily have to worry about help, at least not too much, especially if you're more in the shadow of Ed 209. I don't know why he stomped the ground there. He shouldn't have. And because of skill points, where they're at, and being the first run through, is really close. 10 for Ed and 11 for myself. 13 blowing up the car. Almost took myself out though. Down to 1%. I thought I picked up a couple of recovery charges from the police cruisers. Did I already use them? Alright, a couple more guys. Yeah, so you don't want to be too close to Ed 209. Definitely taking a couple of shots. I don't know if it's because they're shooting at him and missing. There we go. 1917. It's close. Trying to shoot through the guy's legs. Man, friendly fire. The friendly fire was stomping. There we go. It was close, but RoboCop edged him out. There we go. Don't know why that was there. Another building. Level is littered with buildings to investigate. And every building can have OCP crates and upgrades and experience, evidence that you don't have to get, but you don't really want to miss it either. I don't like getting blindsided by enemies as soon as I pop out. Ooh, there we go. I'll take that. Immediately pop up to 67% and no recovery charges. I do have 4 skill points that I can use. Another OCP crate. Like I said, there are a lot of OCP crates. Many more than what I'm showing. Because the video is already lengthy and the level's lengthy. The level's lengthy in and of itself. Going through and showing all of the OCP crates and evidence and PCB boards, etc. makes it even more so. Breach, breach! And hit the aim just a little bit too soon. There we go. And it felt like I hit that guy in the head a few times. And it's not like he had even a biker or something. I'm trying to hit him right in the elbow. Hit him in the foot. Checking around. Nothing really here. Except enemies. Guys popping around the corner. Ghosting through the door. Alright, there we go. Got the RoboCop vision that time. Now, if you have the skill points in the right section, you get a slow-mo button. You get several buttons depending on what you're speccing into. One will give you a shield which reduces your damage. One gives you slow-mo. So in addition to the breach, you can also extend that out with a perk. And then a punch. I don't know. Most of the time, I'm not that close to guys. There's a couple times when you're forced into close quarters. But overall, I would say close quarters combat is pretty rare. Alright. There we go, look at that. From being in trouble at 20% with no recovery charges to having more. We'll just add some points into vitality. And there we go. Back up to 100%. You only need 2.
It can't end like this.
We don't have a final fight with Spike. As per usual, These guys are
Cop killer.
pussycats.
Decided to trespass on our turf, and that shit doesn't fly.
All right, so we got some
What's that noise?
dialogue here, but it looks like we've got a boss to deal with,
Situation
and
is
it's
under
not
control.
Spike.
You now have 15 seconds to comply. Stand back.
I'll do one better.
Get out of the way.
I'm out of here.
You now have
He's like,
5 seconds to comply.
I'll do one better. I'm out.
Everything is under control.
One.
Ed,
I have
stand
now
there.
authorized
Yeah, once he gets down to 5 seconds, I'd probably be pushing trouble. If you have any idea of the history, and that harkens back, it's kind of a RoboCop Easter egg as well. Alright, now this one, depending on what playthrough, what difficulty level,
from Ed 209.
what upgrades that you have, etc.,
Let me see if I can.
this could be a very difficult fight.
Pretty sure I saw
So what I will say is try to get into a position where you can hit Ed, but Ed cannot hit you back. Because without damage upgrades, it takes a long time, even with the little hints that Ulysses gives you. So there we go. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check us out on social media, and thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time.
Now have 15 seconds to comply.
What the hell happened here?
Ed 209 malfunctioned.
Is he still alive?
I am afraid not.
OCP sent us a malfunctioning unit. I bet they did that on purpose. And what about the other cop killer? Where did Spike go?
Wherever he went, justice will find him.